Thank you all very much for being here. Thanks for the opportunity to speak. I've enjoyed all the community engagement that we've gone through, and I appreciate Sean's work, planning staff's work on it, Councilman Syracuse for speaking, Councilman Sledge for trying to keep his son happy long enough to speak, and everybody who signed on. As I listened to some of the comments, I was bothered by what felt to me like cognitive dissonance that was kind of corrected with the last speaker in opposition, in that this zoning code was written to allow businesses to exist in neighborhoods. It was introduced, as y'all know, January 1st, 1998. It took effect and had a specific section of code, the same one we're looking to modify tonight, that specifically allows businesses in neighborhoods. And I know that there are folks in the room who are familiar with the process of getting that in place. So first, the talk about enforceable laws. We currently have that home occupation law. And right here is a list of 14,467 licensed businesses that are operating in violation of our current Metro Code. To say nothing of the probably tens of thousands of unlicensed businesses that are operating in violation of our current Metro Code. And Codes is charged with shutting down these tens of thousands of businesses right now. Their job is to enforce this code, and that includes doing it against all these businesses, all the ones that have licenses, the ones that are advertising on Google Maps or on your favorite or least favorite Facebook group. These businesses that are not necessarily bothering anybody, nobody's complained about, but still, that's on Codes Department's plate right now. So among the benefits of this proposal is the massive easing of the burden on Codes, allowing them to focus their resources instead on bad actors or, say, violators of short-term rental laws. Now, I know your primary task is looking at this from a city planning perspective, and I'm proud of where we've gotten this bill with the help of planning, zoning administrator, engaged members of the community, including folks who expressed concern. We've landed on language that has earned staff approval and meets the goals of Nashville Next. I'd like to share some other info with you that isn't necessarily part of your process, but I think you'll find it interesting, and it describes why this bill is not only less impactful on neighbors than your best case Type 1 STR, but as a net benefit to our neighbors. First and foremost, it's a balanced proposal. It honors the needs of our residents and our neighbors. It's earned widespread support, and I note that every second-term council member who's spoken for it, signed on to it, expressed support for it out in the community, was a supporter or sponsor of 608. And that says a lot in itself about what this bill actually does. Second, this proposal tightens regulations in a variety of ways. It creates stronger requirements to retain residential character. It tightens prohibitions on commercial deliveries, and it explicitly lays out uses that are permitted in homes. Vehicle limitations remain intact, noise limitations are strict, and signage is prohibited. Third, the don't ask, don't tell scenario under which we're currently operating is just awful public policy. We're allowing, and you just heard people advocating for, allowing people to operate illegally with a wink and a nod, leaving residents in a situation where they could go on for years before a neighbor gets mad because leaves are being dropped from a neighboring tree, or because they see an opportunity to get a competitor shut down even though they're on the other side of town. This is unsustainable, and it's a terrible use of Code's limited resources. They should be freed from this overly restricted, unequitable, and wholly unenforceable law and allowed to focus on real priorities. Fourth, Nashville is becoming more unaffordable every day. And there are an awful lot of folks who need to make a few extra dollars just to make ends meet, and they can't afford exorbitant commercial rents. And many students in our underfunded school system need all the enrichment opportunities that they can get, including tutoring and piano lessons. This proposal places reasonable limits on the number of customer visits, the hours and days on which they're permitted, and this is important. It requires visits to be by appointment only and for them to be logged. That means folks who are coming to someone's home will be known by the homeowner, and the homeowner will be present. And to neighbors, this will be no different than a friend bringing her child to play at a friend's house. Our current policy is uniquely unsustainable and uniquely indecent to our residents. If you look at our peer cities, Austin, Charlotte, Indianapolis, Columbus, Orlando, Kansas City, they all have reasonable regulations similar to or broader than what this amendment would implement. So to sum up, the proposal here, it's consistent with Nashville Next. It's supported by planning staff. It's received widespread support. It will make codes enforcement easier. It tightens a variety of important restrictions, and it offers opportunity, equity, and certainty to our residents. Time's running out for a lot of people in Nashville. We're changing fast, and the time to act is now. Please join me, my colleagues, planning staff, and send this to Metro Council for consideration. Thank you.
All right, we're going to close the public discussion, and we'll start our discussion. Commissioner Gobble, I will start with you first.